Hey there, have you ever tried to get fit? Whatever that might mean for you, like maybe you tried to lose weight or you wanted more energy, you wanted to stop feeling bad or whatever it was, and you had this idea that you really wanted to do it and you were motivated, right? Like, I'm gonna do this and gonna do this thing. And maybe you went out and bought a program or you got a personal trainer, got a gym membership, whatever the case was, but you were motivated and you wanted to do it. And then what you found is that you kind of lacked the consistency, you lacked the discipline. It kind of all fell through the cracks, right? And you wound up with this great big feeling that you can't do it. There's something wrong with you, right? I know that pain, I know that feeling, and I know it because it was me. And I've experienced on several different levels through other people that that's what's actually going on out there in the world. My name is Matt Morgan, and I struggled with my fitness from the very beginning. For about 3.5 years, I really got into the business of helping people achieve their health and fitness success. The success that happens from just getting riled up and wanting to do it and thinking like, I'm just gonna force myself to do this thing, I've gotta do this thing. It actually produces somewhere between maybe 1% at the most. I had to go back and I had to look at that a lot more closely, because what had happened for me is I was working with people in the personal training arena and I wanted to produce the success that I had got again with them. And what I found is that nobody's talking about what really needs to be done in the fitness industry. I graduated kinesiology, exercise science. And I was using all those tools. I attended the conferences, the lectures, everything. I read all the literature. I was in the muscle books. I everything that I could, and I was trying to apply that out to clients, and it wasn't working for them. And what I found is it was frustrating, because everything that the industry was telling people to do was the thing that was only producing maybe as high as 1% success. I went back and I looked at my journey really closely, and I found the moment of what really happened for me. Now, after I discovered this moment, the big challenge was to go back and break it all down and put it into terms that, people could understand. I want to let you know right here, right now, that if you've struggled with your health and fitness, I understand that pain. If you've had that pain that you feel like you're not going to be able to get what you want, or you're going to lose control of your health, what's that going to be like for the rest of your life? I want you to know that what I found is the key for overcoming that, but it can be a little bit different. What I found by going back and dissecting my journey and then breaking it down into usable steps and then finding the people that were willing to try it is that I could produce success again and again and again, just like clockwork, as long as people would do it. This is how we get people to drop 35 pounds of body fat in 12 weeks or less. And by the way, that's just a number. People can drop more. It doesn't have to be about 35 pounds, but this is how we get them to do it, and do it easily. We don't do it by eating foods that we hate. We learn to find a journey that we love. We do it all with the activity that you want to be doing. Some people are actually exercising as little as an hour, maybe 2 hours per week. And I'm going to share exactly with you what that is. But before we do, what I'd like to share with you is the old way, and why the old way exists, and why so many people are actually breaking themselves against that old way. The old way, it gets handed down in terms of this is what people believe. When I first started to go get fit, I had a belief in there that just said, the person who would work the hardest would be the person who wins. Like, that's what fitness was all about. I saw it in the movies, I saw it in the magazines, I saw it everywhere. So that belief gets passed on really easily, right? When you look at the fitness industry as a whole, they're the ones that they're perpetuating the old way. And as I studied them, when I went back to study them, what I found is that all of their information and their old way falls into 3 categories. The category number 1 is hard work. Category number 2 is specific workouts. And category number 3 is buying a fitness product. Now, I'm not going to tell you that those things don't work. The one thing that's missing, that I'm telling you about and going to tell you with the new way, which is coming, I'm going to share it with you. The hard work thing will not work. It doesn't work that way. You can work your butt off like I did for over 3.5 years, and you're not going to get success. What you're going to do is you're going to produce all the reasons why you need to quit. Maybe your body gets injured, or maybe we self-sabotage, because I did it all. You would eat really well and then you would go off the rails. You say, I deserve this, or whatever reasons it is. And then we go back and the negative self-talk happens. And so the one that I would say that doesn't work out of the three is hard work. It's not about that. Not to say that you're not going to do any work to get the success that you want, but it's the hard work thing on its own. It absolutely doesn't work, and we break ourselves against it time and time again, and we're left with that feeling of that there's something wrong with me, and there's nothing wrong with me. Now, the others, when we talk about specific workouts, those things can work, but the big key behind all that is what specific workout should you be doing? What type of life are you wanting to build? We never ask that question. We just go, I just want to dump a bunch of body fat and I'll do whatever it takes. A workout that's maybe just crazy and strenuous, it might not be the thing that's going to work for you. So specific workouts work so much better when you do the new way of. And then buying fitness products. We all know about that stuff because I did that too. I spent money that I didn't have, and they were supposed to get all these amazing results. Gosh, they just left me feeling worse because you spent money they didn't have, and you got these pictures of people getting all these amazing results, and you're thinking like, why didn't that happen for me? And I'm back to ground zero. So that really is the old way, going at it with the iron will and saying, okay, like I'm gonna do one of those things, hard work specific. Maybe I'm gonna do them all, hard work specific workouts and buying a fitness product, and they keep popping out the other side with not the success that they want and the success that they deserve. And the new way I'm gonna tell you about is there's just one missing piece to the puzzle. This is how it goes. This is how I discovered it. The new way to do this is you have to change your belief along the way. That's it. Like, you have to become the person that is going to believe that this can happen for them, to believe that this life is going to be something that they want to live and they enjoy living. And without that, it's just not going to happen for you. Plain and simple is that you're going to fight against those beliefs, and they're going to take you down again and again. Now, you can start changing your belief right now, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how we do that, what that process is. But if you do not start changing your belief while you're in the process of changing your body, you will not get success. Your old beliefs will take you back to whatever it is you're believing. Like, you're not worthy of this thing. It's going to be really hard to eat healthy food. Like, it might be that it tastes bad or whatever. You have those things built up in you. Mine is the person that worked the hardest, so fitness had to be really hard, and I would break myself against that rock again and again and again. So then you go out and you try to do the thing, and I'll share some specific examples about that, how that really, really works. But you just keep winding up back to square one and zero. And yet, on the other hand, the people that do succeed, they don't even realize that along the way, they began to buy into that idea of them being the healthy and fit person that they wanted. They had this vision and this beautiful idea. And as that vision started to show up in their life, it was a life that they wanted to live. But when you take that moment and you introduce it purposefully into what it is that you're wanting to do, then you will get success every time. So when we talk about the old way, this is how it really works. Somebody will go out there and say, I don't believe that this is going to happen for me, or I believe it's going to be a really hard thing. And some people will believe, I don't have time. Like, there's a strong belief in there. They say, I don't have time, but they really have this desire. Their body's not doing what they want. They're low energy. They don't feel good. They need to drop weight. Or not knowing what really happens with belief is when you go out to get fit and you believe that you don't have time, this is the way that it really shows up for people is that they're going to the gym. Maybe they get a personal trainer, maybe they get equipment, and they, without knowing, they will choose the worst times to exercise, where their motivation is the lowest, their energy is the lowest, the distractions are the highest, because it's all actually following that belief. And they don't even know that. And what pops out the other side is somebody who just couldn't do it because you just can't hold on that tight. Like, it's too much distraction, too much stuff going on. And I'm not saying that I don't believe people when they say that they don't have time. I 100% believe them. The thing that I'm saying is that the time will not show up as long as you're holding that belief. That's the big thing. My belief, as I said, was that exercise had to be super, super brutal hard in order to succeed. I saw Schwarzenegger, I saw all of them, and everything that I saw on the TV, it was all about this just driving hard work, and that drove me, and it might have drove you too. I've seen a lot of people do it, is that without knowing in that moment, you choose the hardest exercises and the hardest workouts, and you work out for long periods of time until you break yourself against that in the form of injury or burnout or fatigue, and then you're right back to square one. My new way that I'm sharing is to change the belief first, change the belief along the way. And it shows up like this: as you start to see your fit and healthy life and you really love that, it becomes automatic for you to start moving toward the things that are going to serve you best. Like, healthy food doesn't have to taste bad. It can taste really amazing. And if you want to have meals that maybe aren't on the healthy side, like, how does that really play out in your life? Do you sit and gorge yourself on those things? Like, no, we know that doesn't feel good. That gets us our old life. And we don't want this old life anymore. And as we get real clear about that, like, we already know that, but we understand what's actually leading us to that is that belief. What solves it is by building that beautiful belief of this is this life that you're moving toward. It becomes really easy for you to go, well, I'm not going to eat a whole cake or a pint of ice cream in one sitting, because that takes that beautiful life away from me. And that life looks like I'm active, I'm fit, I'm living in the body that I want. Socially, I just feel really good. I'm bringing my best self to the table when it comes to family and friends, and I just feel real good in my skin, and it just starts to happen automatically. I can give you my meal plans and all those things, and you can have meal plans that you might have or exercise that you might have, but the real thing that's going to activate that is what I'm talking about. It's being able to find these beliefs and start changing them for you. And I think you can see right now with me sharing this that it's just not going to happen without that. Like, that's the thing that's been holding us all back. And once you start changing that belief, beautiful things start happening for people. One of my clients that I was working with, the vision for him, it was so beautiful. Like, it gave me chills to hear it. He wanted to climb to the top of a mountain, and his fitness had got to the point where he couldn't do that anymore. And that was a moment that he actually used to share with his dad. It was a beautiful moment. And his dad had passed away. And it was really hurting him that he couldn't get to the top of the mountain anymore. And so his vision was to be at the top of that mountain, and how good that felt, and be in that body and really feel that moment. And that vision automatically started bringing him to workouts that, without him even knowing, that he was doing hiking related things and strengthening his legs. And just simply put, there's a self-guidance system that kicks in there that's so cool to watch people go through. It's the exact thing that they need, and that's what led him to drop over 25 pounds in 3 weeks, and still going and still succeeding despite whatever comes up in his life and all those types of things. That's what actually did that. And I'm talking to you about a person who had struggled the majority of their adult life, never could really lose any weight. If they lost weight, they would always gain it back and then more, and they felt really hopeless. And then once they introduced the belief process, it all changed. So you're probably wondering how that process works, and I'm going to share some of that with you right now. It's actually just a 3-step process. Mind, move, and manifest. And you might have noticed that we are M3, and that's exactly what it stands for. So mind is the thoughts and feelings that you'll be having to change that belief and to achieve what it is that you really want to achieve. Move is the actions that you'll be taking to achieve that dream, and manifest comes down to your results. So I'm going to go to the 3 pillars. We'll just spend a little bit more time so that you can understand how they work. And they work like this: is the first thing that we do is we go into your dream. Like, most people, if you ask them what their dream is or what it is that they're looking to achieve, we have a lot of stuff built around even saying that as adults. Like, a kid will say it really easy, like, wow, I want to do this thing. And then as adults, we get taught to not be able to do that. And so we break down that process and we get real clear about what it is that we want. We're not allowed to say things like, well, I'd just like to lose a little weight, or I'd like to get healthier. Those things, like, what does that really mean? How do we quantify that? Like, how do you measure I got a little bit healthier or I lost a little bit of weight? Like, what does it really mean? What does a little healthier mean? How does that show up in your life? And we really go through this process of letting go and setting a big goal, something that we really want, because that's where the real power is that if you set a goal that you don't want, you're not going to have that energy, that motivation, that consistency, that discipline and drive. Like, you're not going to build something that you're in love with, and love is the real power that we're tapping into there. So we set that big goal by stripping away all the things that's holding us back. We don't get emotionally involved with how that's going to happen. We understand that how it's going to happen is going to be an awesome process that we're going to discover along the way. And then once we understand what that big goal is now we move into these are the thoughts and feelings that I'm having on a regular basis as that. That's the vision that you're doing. And you begin to practice that. Just a lot like you practice to say your name. You didn't come into this world knowing how to do that. So we really activate what we are as humans, our learning at a real basic level. That you practice having those thoughts and feelings on a regular basis. We actually dedicate 2 times a day to do that. And what I tell people is one of the most difficult processes is that right there. It's so interesting and maybe strange for people. They don't want to do it. And the cool part is that the most difficult time there is in that beginning. It's creating that space and time to actually have those thoughts and feelings. And the more that a person does that, the more it expands out into their life and they really enjoy it. And they start to make the connection of what's happening there and how that's starting to change them in their life. And then it gets easier and easier and easier. And then this process, it really gets to be a lot of fun. And it automatically moves to move, which is the second module. And that has to do with the actions that we take, right? What are the best actions that we can take to achieve this life that we want? And I gave you a little bit about that, about, the vision guiding. It starts to guide naturally. So you start noticing that you want to take these actions. And within that process, what you'll find is that you'll find challenge areas. There's something that you want to improve and improve quickly. And through the process of move, we focus on those areas, the actions that you're going to take in the areas that you want to improve quickly, because that's the area that you're going to get the most success from. Like, you're challenged in that area, it's not working for you, so let's focus on that one and let's bump it up. And we teach you the process for how to find old actions that aren't really serving you that well and maybe attached to the old beliefs there a little bit, but how to produce new actions that are going to catapult you there to where you want to go even faster. And then a second part of the move module is it's not just the new actions, but it's being able to take those actions regularly. And the thing that controls that is habit. So we teach you how to start forming that habit too. And so then that becomes an automatic process that you're just starting to take these actions regularly and you're doing it out of habit. It becomes a natural part of your life. And then the third module is this is the one that really is cool. It's manifest. And what you actually learn in this module is by this time you're understanding how the program is working, is that you can actually create any result that you really want. And we don't understand the process that thoughts become feelings and feelings become actions and then actions get our results. And through that process, what we find is that by taking our old results, the ones that we don't want, and we start plugging them into our thinking, well, we're thinking about things that we don't want, like this isn't working for me, it's not going well, and that causes bad feelings. And they're bad feelings because they're connected to stuff you don't want. They're connected to your old results. And that's what actually drives us to take our old actions again, or actions that are going to get those results again and again. This is what leads to that thing like, well, why does it matter? Like, it's not working for me. I can skip the workout or just forget whatever it was that I was doing. I'll just go ahead and eat something or whatever. Through that process, we go back to the old result again and again and again and repeating that cycle. Now, once we figure out what that cycle is, what's so cool about that is that this is how we actually produce the results that we want. What we do through this process of manifests, and again, I'm sharing this module with you because this is the one that catapults you to the point where you can really start producing the results that you want, is we always just abandon the results for the most part, like emotionally. You just look at them and you look at them objectively. We learn to abandon that and we get emotionally involved again in a smaller vision of what it feels like to have that thing, like, period. You don't know how it's going to happen, and that's perfectly fine. But you start thinking those thoughts, like I'm putting those clothes on, or I'm stepping on the scale, or whatever your thing is, you get those thoughts going on. What does that really feel like to have that? And then you find that that feels really good because that's something that you're wanting to move toward. And that's what actually will drive your new actions. These are the things that get us to go, continue on and continue to search, to go to the gym or focus in that area that you want to be training or whatever it is. It drives these new actions, and it's always through the process of taking a new action that you're going to produce a new result, because that's the world that we live in. There is, we live in this world that's all cause and effect, and you have to change those actions and change them regularly to do that. This is where it really gets to be a lot of fun, and people start to understand that they have control that they never thought possible for them. And that's the 3-step process. It really is mind, move, and manifest. If you've made it all the way to this point, I'm guessing that there's something there that resonated with you. Otherwise you probably would have turned this thing off. Like, you've probably been through that process where, you've had that pain, you've tried and you failed, and you want to, get on with the process of changing your beliefs so that you can go out there and you can get the success that you want, the success that you've struggled to get and feel like is missing right here, right now. The simplest way to do that is there should be a link somewhere. It should be maybe down below or something like that. Schedule a call with me, and we will sit down and we will figure out exactly what it is that you need to do and how you need to do it so that you can change that belief for you, and then you can go out there and you can start getting all the success that you want with your health and fitness. You can do that right now just by clicking the link and book a call, and you and I will be getting together shortly, and we'll find out exactly what it is that you need and how you can start making this happen for you right now.